It was one of those unusually quiet Saturdays where the house felt far too still. My sister and her husband were away for the weekend, leaving me in charge of their teenage son, Connor. He was technically my step-nephew, but we'd grown fairly close over the years. Ever since my sister remarried and introduced him to the family, he'd always shown me a mix of curiosity and respect. Now 17, he was going through what most teenage boys did: rapid growth, school stress, and athletic injuries. He just joined the varsity swim team and spent most evenings practicing or recovering from sore muscles. I was lounging on the couch, flipping through a magazine when Connor limped in, rubbing the back of his neck. His towel was draped over his shoulder, his hair still damp from a shower. He groaned and dropped onto the armchair across from me. "I think I messed up my shoulder again at swim practice," he mumbled. I looked up and noticed the way he winced as he rolled his arm. "Again? That's the third time this month. Coach says I've been overdoing my backstrokes. I just can't get it to loosen up. Hurts like crazy. Did you ice it?" "Yeah." Didn't help. I paused, watching the obvious tension in his posture. I had taken a few massage therapy classes in college for fun, and while I was far from licensed, I knew enough about muscular knots and pressure points to help. After a moment of hesitation, I offered, "I could try giving you a quick massage, just to ease some of that tension." Connor looked up surprised. "You know how to do that?" "Well, a little. I'm no professional, but I know where the tension points are." He nodded, clearly desperate for relief. "Okay, sure. That'd be amazing." I stood and grabbed a towel from the linen closet, laying it across the ottoman. "You can lean forward here. I'll focus on your shoulders and upper back." He sat as I directed, his back turned to me as he dropped his head forward. I knelt behind him and placed my hands gently on his shoulders, feeling the heat and tightness in his muscles. His breathing slowed as I began to apply light pressure in circular motions. "You've got a knot right here," I said, pressing gently into his left shoulder blade. He flinched but nodded. "Yeah, that spot kills." I worked my thumbs around the muscle, gradually increasing the pressure. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the ceiling fan and Connor's steady breaths. As I moved between his shoulder blades, I felt the tension slowly begin to melt. He exhaled deeply, almost in disbelief. "You're really good at this," he murmured. I smiled to myself. "Thanks. You're not my first sore swimmer. My college roommate used to beg for massages every week." He chuckled, relaxing further. "I might need to book you full-time." "Let's not get carried away," I teased. As I continued, I noticed how grown-up he seemed now. Connor wasn't the shy, awkward teen who used to hide behind his mom's legs anymore. He was lean, athletic, confident in his presence, even when he was in pain. It struck me in that moment just how much he'd matured, and for a brief second, I felt something shift in the air between us. I shook it off and focused on his neck. "Tilt your head to the right." He obeyed, and I massaged along the side of his neck, feeling the muscle jump slightly beneath my fingers. His skin was warm, his breathing deeper now. "Better?" "Yes." He nodded slowly. "Yeah. It's weird, but this is the best I've felt in weeks." "Well, maybe you just needed someone to work those muscles the right way." He turned slightly to glance at me. "I think it's more than that." The comment made me pause. There was something in his voice, something quiet but charged. I didn't know how to respond, so I shifted back to his shoulder blades. I could feel his heart pounding through his back. Or maybe that was mine. Either way, something had changed. Just then, the sound of a car passing broke the silence, and the moment slipped away. I pulled my hands back and stood, brushing imaginary dust from my jeans. "Well, I think that should do it," I said quickly, trying to regain normalcy. Connor sat upright, rolling his shoulders. "It really helped. Thanks a lot." I nodded, walking to the kitchen. "Anytime." Later that evening, while I was tidying up, Connor came downstairs with a plate of cookies he'd warmed up. He held them out to me like a peace offering. "You didn't have to do that," I said, but took one anyway. I know. Just wanted to say thanks again. That massage, it wasn't just relaxing. Made me feel seen. Like someone actually noticed how tense I was. I glanced up at him. His expression was genuine, open. Well, Connor, that's what family does. We look out for each other. He smiled softly, the kind of smile that lingers in your memory long after it's gone. Still, not everyone would have offered. You didn't have to, but you did. I looked down, unsure of what to say. That sense of shifting energy returned. Gentle, quiet, but unmistakably there. Before I could respond, he added, "Good night," and turned back upstairs. I sat on the couch, chewing slowly, mind replaying every second of that massage. The surprise wasn't anything dramatic. There was no secret revealed, no scandal, no confession. What took me by surprise was the connection. The realization that someone I'd always seen as a kid had grown into someone thoughtful, aware, and capable of real emotional presence. Caught me off guard, the way time sneaks up on you and rewrites the people you thought you knew. The next morning, everything returned to normal. We had breakfast, talked about college options, and laughed over silly YouTube videos. The massage was never mentioned again, but something had quietly shifted in our dynamic. There was new respect there, a gentle understanding. When his parents returned Sunday evening, Connor gave me a quick hug before disappearing to his room. My sister asked if he behaved, and I assured her that he did. She smiled, poured herself a glass of wine, and the weekend faded into the rhythm of ordinary life. But sometimes I'd catch Connor glancing my way during family dinners or asking if I could teach him some of the massage techniques for his friends. There was always a slight pause before he asked, like he was remembering something more than just muscle relief. And I'd smile, remembering what happened during that massage, and how it quietly changed the way I saw him forever.